Solar powers, don't we all love this?
I just wanted everyone to understand how solar power works. Can you give us a little rundown?
Pretty
'Cause
simple.
It's important.
Your solar panel captures the rays of the sun, goes into an inverter, which then converts that into, the electricity that can be stored into batteries.
AC, yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
So those components by themselves seem innocuous.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
Unfortunately, something really bad has been discovered.
Yep.
And it has implications beyond whether or not your house has solar.
Yeah.
This is implications of a nation.
Yes.
On a nation. Right. Let's look at the next slide here.
Sure.
Just in case you don't get it, just so you understand how it works. Solar panel converts sunlight to electricity. Inverter converts electricity to usable power. Converted power is sent to your home. Excess power is sent to the grid and credited to you. That's usually how it works.
Yeah.
On a personal level.
Yeah, but of course, like any solar panel is going to need an inverter.
Correct.
Okay, because if you got an RV or something, you got a solar panel. If you're one of those guys who like a prepper or something and you go in the middle of the woods and you have like a little solar panel and a battery bank or whatever,
But it also works like this when you scale it up. So if you play,
Yeah.
you scale this up and you have solar fields. Solar fields maybe will power a school, a church, a entire factory, industry, a water plant, right?
Or the entire electrical grid.
Or the entire grid, right? When you scale it all the way up.
I mean, these solar farms get plugged into the grid. That's the whole point. When you got a big solar farm, is you plug it into the grid. It's this whole renewable energy push, wind turbines and solar panels. And inverters are also used in other applications too.
For sure. However, this is what's happened.
Yeah.
Chinese made devices that play a critical role in renewable energy infrastructure like this, right?
Yes.
After an unexplained communication equipment was found inside of some of them, there is now an investigation.
Yep.
Two people familiar with this whole situation did a report, right?
Right.
Power inverters, which are predominantly produced in China, are used throughout the world to connect solar panels and wind turbines to electricity grids.
Yep.
They're also found in batteries, air conditioners.
Like EV batteries.
Yes.
Yeah. Heat pumps.
Electric vehicle chargers.
Yeah.
Right. You could just go across the board here, right? These are important devices. While inverters are built to allow remote access for updates and maintenance, the utility companies that use them typically install firewalls to prevent direct communication back to China. However, rogue communication devices not listed in the product documents have been found in Chinese solar power inverters by U.S. experts who stripped down equipment hooked up to grids to check for security issues. Over the past 9 months, undocumented communication devices, including cellular radios, have also been found in some batteries from multiple Chinese suppliers. The rogue components provide additional undocumented communications that would allow firewalls to be circumvented remotely.
Yep.
So picture this. You have your inverter, and you go, well, it's made in China, but I got firewall in there.
Yeah.
China can go, bye-bye, firewall.
Yeah, get direct access through the cellular radio.
This could have potentially catastrophic consequences. And I'll give you some examples in a second. This is a quote from a guy named Mike Rogers. He was the former U.S. National Security Agency.
Good.
We know that China believes there is value in placing at least some elements of our core infrastructure at risk of destruction or disruption. Using rogue communication devices to skirt firewalls and switch off inverters remotely or change their settings could destabilize power grids, damage energy infrastructure, and trigger widespread blackouts.
That's
now,
right,
Why would
like
you
a
want to do
cascade
that?
event.
Why would you want to do that?
Well, in case you want to invade, or if you want to cut off communication, or if you want to just cause chaos.
Would you put these remote back doors into inverters and solar panels like this and batteries if you weren't going to do that?
No, of course not. They want to have the option to switch it off. And like you just said there, you can create wide-scale disruptions and blackout an entire city, entire country, because this stuff is connected to the grid. And with the right amount of messing around, you can actually cause a problem in this solar panel grid or this wind turbine grid to actually trip the entire grid and bring the whole area down, the whole state down. It's entirely possible to do that.
That effectively means there's a built-in way to physically destroy the electrical grid. The existence of the rogue devices has not previously been reported. This is new.
Yes.
This is the backdoor thing is new.
Yep.
Right. While this functionality may not have malicious intent, it's critical for those procuring to have a full understanding of the capabilities of the products received, said a spokesperson. Now, here's the deal. That's why I asked you that leading question.
Yeah.
I'm trying to set you up here. What other intent is there to have a backdoor that stops a firewall put in place for safety? What other intent is there? Is there delicious intent? What is the opposite of malicious? Is there good intent?
No, there's no good intent. And they might argue that, oh, in case we needed to like fix it remotely or do some kind of update. But no, that stuff gets done, out in the open. There are, like you said, the service providers and stuff, they have a way in. But they don't know about these clandestine ways in. Because if you've got a cellular radio in something, you can connect to it from wherever in the world.
You can.
Without anyone's permission.
Yes.
Directly to the thing. It's like a cell phone. So, you have a cell phone. It's like if, a terrorist wants to use a remote bomb, they put a cell phone somewhere so they can dial it and then
Correct.
it blows up. It's that kind of thing. They can get right into it. They can control it. And that's the very, very worrying thing. And China being dishonest once again, surprise, surprise, because they can't be honest anyway. It's just the norm. It's not a surprise.
It's so blatant. And
That's not solar, by the way.
Is there anything?
It's like mirrors. I mean, it's still solar power.
Is it getting electricity?
I mean, it's like it's frying birds.
Are there
but at
inverters?
Yeah, there will be because there's like molten salt and it like heats up and it makes steam and
Still in
so
power
there'll
inverters?
be a power inverter in there, of course. Yeah.
Just some implications here. Do you guys remember when the power went off in Spain and Portugal?
And that was only like a couple weeks ago.
Yes. So look at some photos to remember this, okay? There's the third photo here coming up. Just pause it on that.
Yeah, that was scary.
That was terrifying. And what happened was the power went off across the board over a huge part of Europe.
Yes.
Right? Now, they were able to fix it within a day, right? Given the circumstances here, and the amount of inverters and batteries and solar panels and capabilities and backdoors that China has to this, they could do a hell of a lot more damage than that.
Yeah.
And that was catastrophic.
And what was the cause of this particular one?
It was potentially related to the solar grid.
Yes.
Right?
I think it was linked to the renewable energy a renewable energy source.
Yes.
And that's what caused it. They're not sure whether it was malicious or just a fault, but it shows you it's the renewable energy stuff that tripped it all up and caused this.
So it says the Spanish grid operator Red Electrica identified several incidents of power generation loss possibly linked to solar plants, right?
Yep.
Now, when this happens, immediately, of course, our alarm bells go off. And we go, is China or Russia testing something out?
Yep.
Right? Maybe in... potentially for reciprocation about helping Ukraine or maybe some sort of bad deal that China got, right? You have to think about these nefarious powers that do things like this,
If
right?
China was about to, say, for instance, invade Taiwan, if they shut off all the power in America, while they did that, it would slow down any kind of response time.
Correct. It also cause chaos in the U.S.
Yes,
That's
correct.
ultimately what they want, right?
Yeah.
If you can have some sort of crazy animalistic civil war here that you've created, and they're trying to do that right now through TikTok influence campaigns, right? If you manage to pull that off, then you got clear sailing, right? The U.S. is not going to be able to help as well as they could. Now, when this happened in Spain and Portugal, it was initially ruled out, the cyber attack potential was initially ruled out. But they are now reinvestigating.
After
that
they
as a
found these,
possibility. I don't know if it's related after finding this, but it's interesting that they kind of said, no way, not cyber attack. Now they're going, hey, let's reinvestigate this.
Yeah, it may have been a cyber attack.
Yeah. So if you play through here, I think this is absolutely terrifying.
Yes.
I think we need to remember that Salt Typhoon, a recent Chinese attack that they did for a long time, came into America, invaded and went into our telecom systems to get information on every single cellular network, cell phone, government, people, everything, right? To identify those people. Did that recently, right? They've also done something else. They did something called Volt Typhoon.
Yeah, which will come up eventually.
Volt Typhoon. PRC state-sponsored actors compromise and maintain persistent access to U.S. critical infrastructure. Multiple departments of government were compromised. And you know why they were compromised?
Why?
In an effort to destroy them, to destabilize them, to do exactly what you said about the solar inverters, to do all of those things. This is not the first time. The Chinese government has already committed warfare against the U.S. and no one has the balls to say it.
Yeah, exactly.
Are we not? Are we? Why are we joking here? They've already hacked infrastructure.
Yes.
We keep finding more and more and more, and yet we have deals.
Yeah.
And we talk to them like they're some sort of moral equal.
Yeah,
They are
that's a
evil,
mistake.
and they're hurting America, and they're doing it right now, and they're going to continue to do it until we're no more.
Yes.
Do you agree?
100% agree. They are taking advantage of the high trust society.
Yes.
Being a low trust society, they very easily take advantage. It's kind of like a con man.
Yeah.
Has no scruples.
No.
You'll find an old lady or someone who's very trusting and very nice, and go feed them a line and, talk with a silver tongue and rob them blind and murder them, and get rid of the body and take over their house and their car.
Yes.
That's what China's doing to the US and the West. Anyway, we wanted to point out, this is not really related, but it's kind of related. It wasn't that long ago that a bunch of mini PCs are these cool little computers that you can buy from China, right?
Yes.
Mostly manufactured in China. But a bunch of them were found to have pre-installed from the factory malware, So this is just a bit of a risk when you're buying all of these electronics from China, because, we're finding it in the inverters and stuff like that. But I mean, something like this, you go and buy a cool thing off Amazon. It's for sale on Amazon. They're fairly cheap, and it's like, cool, it's a gadget. I like this kind of thing a lot. Like, I want to buy one. I don't buy one because they're made in China and they're a risk, even though I really want one.
Yeah.
I buy a Raspberry Pi instead, which sucks in comparison. But, I like Raspberry Pis, I guess.
Well, it's cheaper too, and it's not Chinese.
It's cheaper, yeah. Anyway, the whole thing is they were releasing them and selling them on Amazon with malware installed. Who knows what else? Maybe that cheap power bank that you're buying off Amazon from China's got something in it.
The point of hearkening back to this is to show this keeps happening.
Sure.
It keeps happening.
Yeah.
And it's pretty clear what's happening, right?
Yes. Yeah. So it wasn't just one or one incident. There was more than one different mini PCs from different manufacturers that actually had malware installed on them from the factory.
Yeah.
Just saying, there's all sorts of ways that they can get you.
Many. Many.
All sorts. That's just a little reminder, okay?
You know what China's official response
That was just
is gonna
last
be?
year. What's that?
You know what their foreign ministry is going to say tomorrow, probably?
What?
They're going to say, because there ain't no solar backdoor.
Shut up. That's so bad. That's so bad. Oh, man. Do we have like a shut the hell up button over here? Yeah, we do, actually.
I remember you left my spirit. With you high is all I'm feeling. Remember.
That is savage. That is just savage.
So disgusting.
I'm sorry, but wow.
You got a brain in a cup with
I
milk in it? What is this? Is this not like a fever dream? You will find something you don't want. 4 months in the piss and shit, and they continue to pee and poop on it.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
I saw it and I go, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. They're trying to make a green pig.
This is such a bad thing. Yeah, all right.
Such a